is the Aqua Sensory Podcast. I'm your host, Jo Wilson. In this show, you will learn all about sensory harmony in water for babies and the early years. Because when we grow to love, connect and respect water, learning follows naturally. Hello there, it's Jo. I have been doing lots and lots of reflecting recently. I was asked the question, what is sensory harmony in water? Because we say that a lot at Aqua Sensory because it's the feeling, it's an ethos that we want to transmit throughout our classes and throughout everything that we do. So it allowed me time to ponder, but also ask others as well. What does sensory harmony in water mean to them as well? So today I'd like to share with you a few thoughts and start some open conversations and chats. So how we bring sensory harmony to the water, how perhaps if this resonates to you, how you can do it, and just a few thoughts and top tips as well. But I know myself, when I bring through sensory harmony, I'm much more playful in water. I love to express myself and I actually feel much more in flow. I come back into myself, into balance as well. It provides a real deep sense of satisfaction and peace, really. It's that special feeling. It's like a connection with myself and also others in the water, in the pool as well. You know, when the universe sort of has and sort of gives us that complete oneness, that bliss feeling, we look around in absolute wonder and awe. Perhaps you have that feeling when, I don't know, you might see a sunset. It's a really, really deep feeling. That to me is sensory harmony in water. We're absolutely, completely present in the moment. And in my classes, that's what I love to create. Of course, water is multi-sensory, but I love to bring through this as experiences as well. Different modalities to the water, like mindfulness, flow movements. I often guide my parents to water dance with their babies, as well as bringing awareness to their breath as well. And that's actually important, our breath. It's almost like an anchor to our nervous system. When we feel regulated, our systems are really calm, almost like flowing on green. We're much more open to learning. We're not stressed. Again, that to me is definitely sensory harmony in water. And the environment as well. When we look around, we want to create an environment that feels in balance, not too much and not too less. So it's just the right amount of sensory stimulation. And also we want our parents to really feel in sensory harmony with their child. A class where there is no set expectations and judgment. And that's really different, isn't it? Because often in our busy lives, we're often in that sort of doing busy mode. So to come to a class that feels much more in terms of sensory harmony and more of a mindful mode, wow, how different would that feel? I know that when I am creating sensory harmony in water, it's definitely a feeling, an experience that I love to transmit. And also it's about co-creation as well, meeting the needs of our parents and our babies, almost like chucking away the lesson plans and planning in the moment, almost surrendering to that moment. How does that make you feel? Are you sort of a bit excited and thinking, yeah, that's exactly planning in the moment, or not too sure? I think when we're in class, sometimes, we have automatic processes or we want to really, really focus on the skills. So sensory harmony is maybe a little bit of a different way to teach as well. It's quite transformational. For parents to come to class and they're not expected to do anything. And it's okay if their baby is unsettled, of course we're there to support them, and often parents give themselves really tough times, don't they? They're often comparing themselves to other parents. So wow, could that be sensory harmony for them to come to a class where they can be totally themselves, totally at ease, and be totally present with their baby as well? That to me is sensory harmony in water. And of course, when we are looking at and thinking about the environment, we want our sensory systems to feel integrated. It's not about overstimulation. So let's think about that. Let's think in sensory integration and not sensory overstimulation. That to me is definitely sensory harmony, because when we are at ease, when we're balanced with our environments, we're able to learn more as well. We're able to feel more and to be regulated in a calm state as well. Our tempos, our inner tempos, aren't too fast or too slow. Now, I often use an analogy like a rocket. Have a think about a rocket that's blasting and the optimum child development platform. So I'm going to go through this, see if this suits and sort of fits your teaching style. So the R for rocket is where we're really choosing resources, the resources with care, not too much, and making sure they're all developmentally appropriate as well. The O in our rocket is observation, looking round and making sure that all our classes have that lovely flow. Do any of our parents or our children, our babies, need anything? We're meeting that moment and where they're at in terms of their development and skills. The C for rocket is child-centred. I love to bring the early years into the pool. Like Montessori, now she said about the absorbent mind. Little ones were sponges, making sure that we have the right amount of sensory stimulation. That's the C. K, kinesthetic, that is a hands-on learning experience. We need to use our hands. We want to really be able to facilitate independence as well. Kinesthetic learning is amazing in the pool. I've talked a little bit about environment. That's the E in our rocket. And of course, the environment is so important, a nurturing environment. I'm going to talk about a little bit more about that in a moment. And then the last in our rocket is time, making sure we have enough time and space to explore. And talking about time, sometimes there can be stillness as well. I think sensory harmony in water for me is those magic silent times, the spaces in between. When it's still and there's nothing, sometimes we want to jump in, don't we? We might feel a little bit uncomfortable. We want to feel that moment. But there's something incredibly powerful about that quiet times in the pool. It means that our parents can reflect inwards, but our little ones, our children, our babies are able to process as well. Do you enjoy the silent spaces in between? Or do you feel a little bit like, not sure what I should be doing now, I need to put in another activity? I'd love to know. I think the sensory harmony comes from the magic in between those activities, the quiet times. And also it's about guiding and allowing, not always teaching, obviously not forcing and pushing, but I love to guide our parents in the pool and also to ensure that they are balanced as well. Sensory harmony for me is about not just the teaching the activities, but for parents as well. How do your parents feel? How are their body positions in the pool? Do they feel safe and grounded? have a little think, and can they tune into where their feet are on the pool floor? Of course, it's a gravity-free environment, so it's important that they feel safe and grounded and be able to support their little ones in the pool. That to me is sensory harmony. And of course, sound as well. Sound has a beautiful way of transmitting. It's like sensory harmony from the inside out, creating vibrations. We don't always have to sing as well. Humming is another way of bringing different sounds into the pool. It's that perfect balance. And of course, we're nurturing ourselves and nurturing our children, our babies too. I was recently reading up a lot of neuroscience about the 1001 days. Obviously, that's a real critical window from conception to 2. So much brain development happens. I don't know if you know, but 86 billion brain cells that a baby is born with. Wow. But what is so fascinating is that they're not connected. And 1 million connections are made every second. Now, particularly in the first 60 days, that's even more of a window where the brain is on a real speeded up, a real fast development stage as well. And that's really, really important. I've been reading lots about nurturing and how important it is. And of course, science is now catching up with all of the theories and all of the observations that was traditionally made, because we've now got the technology in terms of MRI scans. We can actually scan what's happening in a baby's brain, and we actually now know how important nurture is for development, which I find absolutely fascinating. And I've just recently been studying neuroscience in the early years as well, and just really sinking into that harmony feeling, which is all really about love, creating an unconditional love bubble in the pool. And I often think that when babies are in their parents' or their caregivers' arms, it's almost like coming back to that beautiful womb space almost, and being rocked in the water surrounding the babies like a cushion of calm, where they feel safe and protected. Wow, that to me definitely must feel like sensory harmony for a baby if they're feeling really regulated and calm and skin to skin. And of course, it reflects a really, really lovely solid base of nurturing care where we're facilitating really strong attachments, which is obviously so important for infant mental health, because sometimes swimming, we do really focus on the physical skills, but of course it's the emotional health and well-being that is so important. It lasts an absolute lifetime. And when I've been asking others, what does sensory harmony in water mean to you? One swim professional said to them it meant about releasing and letting go. And I thought that was really lovely. For them, it was a space to process emotions, and they felt there were much less distractions. There was just themselves and the water, which was soothing and calming. That it was a space for them to go really inward, a peaceful space where they're able to really connect to their inner thoughts and their inner feelings as well, which I thought was really beautiful. So maybe in the pool, when we have our parents and our babies, that we can transmit that feeling, a safe space where they can release and let go as well. And recharge as well. Water has an amazing way of allowing us to recharge and come back to ourselves, to really express ourselves. I've often said that I feel really playful that when I'm in water, and I think it really brings out what we need and our sensory preferences as well. At Aquasensory, we always start with us, But one of the things I absolutely love to do is bring everybody together, a real true sense of community and connection. That to me is definitely sensory harmony in water. So I'd love to know your thoughts. What does sensory harmony in water mean to you? Has any of this resonated? I'm going to leave you on one moment, which I feel is really, really super important in our world today, where we perhaps don't respect water. We're maybe not protecting water enough, where we haven't got a conscious relationship to water, which is so important in our blue planet. So maybe sensory harmony in water is about deep respect, protecting nature for our future generations as well. I love to know your thoughts. I know sensory harmony in water is totally possible for you. Just sink into that feeling and think into what it could feel like for you. It's probably different for you than it is to me, and that's okay. Definitely feel that our world needs a little bit more harmony. So, time to create sensory harmony in water. Thank you for listening to the Aqua Sensory Way. It's so nice to have you here tuning in today. Let's connect again soon. I'd love you to find out more about creating sensory harmony in water. Come and join us on our socials and in our community Facebook group, Aqua Sensory Connections.